than times. Like, he the dummy. No, 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 I the dummy. Because if I told him once and he didn't get it, and I told him twice and he didn't get it, and I told him 3 times and he didn't get it, maybe there's something wrong in the telling. How many times have you heard someone say, let me be honest with you? What's the alternative? Any of you remember the old Geritol commercial? The old Geritol commercial? The guy will stand on television, on TV. He'll have his wife standing next to him. He'll put his arm around his wife. He'll look straight in the TV camera and he'll say, my wife, she takes Geritol every day, and I love her for it. Now, I don't know about you. I used to worry about this woman. I'd lie up at night thinking, what if she stops taking Geritol? Who's going to love this woman? We say dumb, dumb things. Here's the best way to learn how to speak. Get a tape recorder and record yourself. Get a tape recorder and record yourself. You must record your presentation. And you must listen back to it. And you must ask questions like these. This person on this tape recorder, me, does he, does she sound like they're intelligent? Do they sound persuasive? Do they sound honest? Do they sound passionate? Do they sound informed? Do they sound successful? And if not, why not? And if not, what must they do so they will feel all these things? Tape yourself and listen. If you're using too many ahs, ums, you know, or God forbid, the word like. I woke up this morning and I looked out the window and it was dark. And I said I have to turn the light on, but it was too far from my bed. Who invented the word like? Clearly a person who doesn't know a lot of words in English. It has no application. People who use too many like, that means their brain can think fast enough to come up with something different. So don't succumb to this kind of stuff. Here's why. Because when you use repetitious stuff like that, it defocuses the listener from the message itself. And the listener now is focused on the interference itself. The word like. It's equivalent to guys. Gosh, I wish I have 2-3 hours with you because there's so much we need to cover. It's equivalent. Well, thank you. It's equivalent to the guy, God forbid we have one of those dudes here this afternoon. It's equivalent to the guy who might have hair where God never intended to be. Like on top of their nose. Do you know guys like that? And I've discovered these hairs on top of the nose always come in groups of 3. Now the only thing worse than having hair on top of the nose is hair coming out of the nose. I sat next to a guy from Atlanta to Los Angeles the other day who had, I'm not kidding you now, who had hair coming out of each nostril, roughly 1/4 of an inch per side. I thought the guy owned a broom factory. I wanted to tell him, give me your address for Christmas. I'm going to send you 2 red ribbons, you know. And then it struck me, how can this guy miss this hair coming out of his nose? Because I couldn't help but notice that he had no mustache. I ask you, when he shaved that morning, what did he do? Lift those up and... Now that is called interference. And when you got interference, you can't connect. You ask a question, does he have a partner in his life who could have pointed him to the hair. The point is, when you use words like, or you have some visual stuff that interferes, it robs you of your power of persuasion. So that's how you learn how to speak. You record yourself, you listen to yourself, you improve, become more persuasive. The second one is listen. I'll tell you the best way to learn how to listen. This is such a simple technique, but it's so powerful. Here's what you do. When you watch TV or a video, take the remote control, assuming you live in a household where you can take the remote control. And as the newscaster reads the news, you know, for a whole sentence, mute them, and out loud repeat what they just said. The first once or twice you do that, you'll become very frustrated because you say to yourself, heavens, I can't even repeat it. But don't give up. Put the sound back on. Listen to one more sentence. Mute it. Repeat it. In a matter of 2 minutes, you'll become an outstanding listener. Here's why. Being a great listener does not come from your mother's womb. Being a great listener is not a talent reserved for the rich or the powerful or the good-looking or the smart. Being a good listener comes to those among us in this ballroom today who focus on listening. And you know how you focus on listening? When you determine in your heart and your soul that this person with whom you're speaking is a creature of God. If this person is a creature of God, he must be important. And if he or she are important, they deserve to have me pay attention to them. It's simple. The O stands for observing. Not just seeing, but observing. 95% of the people who will meet you or me will make an impression of you or me in the first 30 seconds they meet us. Is that fair? I think not. Is that what happens? Indeed. So I have a choice. I fight the world in its ways, or I survive and thrive and excel in spite of its ways. I seek not to waste my time on that which cannot be done. I search for ways to invest my time in those things that I can, in fact, have some impact upon, so I can move forward, not sideward, and not backwards. Observing is powerful, and most of us are not as good at it as we think we are. We think we can look at someone and read them, but we really can't. And yet if you're trying to persuade someone about something, recruiting someone in your downline, you've got to watch them, because the greatest salespeople on the face of this earth are those who listen and observe their way to more sales, not the ones who talk their way to more sales. Think about your best pals. Your best pals are the ones who listen to you, observe you, and say, is something wrong? Can I help in some way? They know when you're not feeling well. And observation is an interesting technique. Let me ask you to do something for me. Take your right arm, stick it ahead of you like this, index finger and a thumb, make me an O like Campbell, alphabet soup, O, very good. Now if you will please, do exactly as I say, do as quickly as I say, do it. Do exactly as I say, do as quickly as I say, do it. Do exactly as I say, do. I have to repeat the instructions 3 times in case there's some Democrats here. You got to do exactly as I say, do. Don't worry, I don't belong to any organized political party. I'm a Republican. Do exactly as I say, do as quickly as I say, do it. Bring the hand very quickly to your head. Very good. To your chest. You're terrific. To your back. Fantastic. To your right leg. Superb. To your chin. My, oh my. My, oh my, oh my. I said to your chin. I noticed a couple of guys here. One of them looked over to the other one and said, hot dang, I got this one right. I had one guy in the seminar one time for 10 minutes, had his hand on his cheek, would not move his hand. I said, sir, I said to your chin. He said, this is my chin. 3 facelifts, he said, this is my chin. Why did you put your hand on your cheek when I said to your chin? Because in this case, you looked at me and did what I did, but you did not listen to me. It's called congruent behavior. We've got to listen, we've got to see, and we've got to speak, much like an orchestra can bring together 30, 40, 100 different musicians, each playing his or her instrument, but together making an incredible philharmonic sound that we're enamored by. That's what you and I have to do. We're going to communicate well. Speak, listen, observe. And the W stands for writing, by the way. We have to write well. How many of us write letters to other people and begin the letters? Ay, 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 ay. Begin the letters with the word I. Piece of advice from my heart to yours. Never again write a letter to anyone that you begin it with the word I. Dear Nido, I am happy that I got you this video and I am sending it to you today because I think it will help you. That's not a letter about Nido, that's a letter about you. Wouldn't it be better to say, Dear Nido, you'll be glad to know that this tape can change your life, comma, introduce you to an incredible opportunity, comma, make you feel good as you get rich. That's a letter I'm going to keep and reread. So I say to people, don't begin with the word I. Incidentally, pages 3 and 4 are exercises that you can do on your own. So now we go to page 5. Page 5. I just want to summarize a couple of things on page 5 and page 6. I mentioned some of those last time to you, but in the context of communication, I'll mention them very briefly today and we'll move on, because I really want to get to page 7. Let me, it just occurred to me that I'm not being very honest with you. And so, I got to be very honest with you. And this is serious. I have to be out of here today by 3:30. And I haven't even told Tony this, but I felt like you and I get along so well that I really haven't opened my heart to you completely. So I'm just going to say this in 10 seconds and move on. Not to bring any bad news this afternoon, but since I like you and I think you like me, then you know, you need to know what's going on in my life. Since I've seen you last, regretfully, my wife has been diagnosed with breast cancer. And in the last 2 months, my life has been turned upside down. And we have 4 children at home. The youngest is 8. I know, you're surprised. But you shouldn't be. I mean, I got a closet of Starlight stuff, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's hard when you have 4 kids at home who struggle with their mom, struggling with breast cancer. She has lost all her hair, and she did go through 3 operations, and she's doing chemotherapy, and it's very traumatic, and I'm not staying away from home overnight. So I flew in this morning, and I'll fly back out in a few minutes. And I say that to you because well, I'm glad you agree with me. I say that to you because I wouldn't want you to think I'm being rude, that I just come in here and then jump out of here. You see me running out of here in a few minutes. And the reason I'm going back to the lectern is to look at my watch and make sure that I don't miss my airplane. The airlines and I have an agreement. It's been a long-standing contract. If I don't show up on time, they can leave without me. So, So let's go to page 5. But hey, we have a lot of faith. My wife is